Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Mosin Nagant mod, which has been uploaded by user FX0X01, but in fact has been worked on by a quality team of about 8 different modders, I believe, and I have to say, I think these guys have put together probably one of the best quality weapon mods I've seen in a little while on the Nexus. It is beautiful and, in my opinion, very befitting of a weapon as legendary as the Mosin Nagant, which I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, as it's one of those names I've heard like 4 or 5 different ways, so I'm not entirely sure. But either way it goes, you guys know me when it comes to weapon mods. I either like them to be new and lore-friendly, or old and pre-war, and this is definitely pre-war and definitely old. This weapon in the real world was invented for the Russian Imperial Army back in the late 1800s. I don't remember the exact year, but sometime in the late 1800s, and was made, I think, until the 60s, and something like 35 million of them were produced and distributed around the world. So not that crazy to think that possibly a handful of them made their way into the Commonwealth. And you know, it's a quality weapon when it's been made for that long, that many were created, and some militaries still actually use it to this day as a sniper rifle. I believe the Finnish military, for instance, does still use it as a sniping weapon, and yeah, I think that speaks loads about the power and quality of this gun. Now, as for how you get it in the game, it will start popping up in the world in different stores at around level 25. And what you do get is the standard Mosin Nagant, which is a beautiful bolt-action rifle that will hold a 5-round clip, and it will do a base level of 67 damage with 308 rounds, with a firing rate of 4, a range of 203, accuracy of 73, weight of 9, and value of 310. Now, you'll notice a few things with the current standard mods on here. It specifies infantry standard receiver, which is something I'll talk about here in a moment, but there is an oddity with this weapon, which I find actually quite entertaining. We also do have down here a plus 0% damage thing. Now, this is a weapon modification that adds a damage modifier to the gun, which I have to admit, I'm always torn on what I think about those, because modders tend to add these in for people who think that the gun is a little bit underpowered, or perhaps doesn't last too long into the game as they think it probably should, and so they add those so you can increase the damage. And I understand that, but at the same time, it's a free modifier that requires no resources, so I kind of find it a little bit cheaty, but understandably cheaty. But other than that, it is a beautiful weapon, beautifully modeled, beautifully textured. I love the details of like the strap loops here. You can actually see through them there. Another one back there on the end of the stock. A very, very cool gun, and with custom animations and everything, it is awesome. And you can end up making some pretty unique and powerful weapons with it. For instance, this one is my most powerful. I was able to create it at 153 with the 80% damage bonus down there, and it's good. Or you could go wacky and make a 4-bayoneted Mosin Nagant, which makes it nigh on impossible to aim down sights, but you know what? I don't think you're going to be aiming much with this thing. It's more of a stabbing weapon, which is fun. So let us actually go and take a look at the modifications as a whole that we have for this thing. So let's head to the Workbench and go to our standard Mosin Nagant here, and notice that we don't have scopes in here. That is where the infantry receiver comes into play. As if we go into the receivers here, you'll notice we have every receiver twice, but instead of just being a random thing, one is for infantry, one is for sniper. And the sniper one is the only version of the Mosin Nagant that can have scopes. The infantry one is iron sights only. But if we do put on a sniper standard receiver onto here, so I can look at the scopes here momentarily, you will be able to see those, which is very interesting. And the reason we have it as two different receivers is because of the bolt action mechanism. The actual, oh god, I don't actually know the proper name for it. The actual handle on the bolt, on the infantry version, it's straight out to the side. So if you tried to actually, you know, cock the gun with it, you'd hit the scope. Whereas the sniper version has a curved one so that you can still do the bolt action motion, but the bolt will stay under the scope, which is quite cool. And again, I'll show that off when we do get out to shooting these. But other than that, it's just either an infantry or sniper version of each receiver, and they're fairly bog standard as far as receivers go. We go from the standard up to things like the calibrated powerful receiver, and yeah, you just choose if you want scopes or not, frankly. Now, as for the barrels, we have three options here of a long, medium, or short barrel, and as you get shorter, it becomes less accurate and loses range. But does make for the short barrel a nice close quarters weapon. In fact, that's the one that I have the 4 bayonets strapped to, which is, again, entertaining. Now, the next thing we have is the stock, which, only has one option. I don't know if there's going to be more options in the future. They're kind of wanting to keep the historical nature of the gun, so I doubt we'll see other stocks, but hopefully there'll be something in here in the future. Same thing goes for the 5-round clip. We only have a 5-round clip, so that's a thing. Then when we get into scopes, we have the standard iron sights, a PE scope, a PE scope that's see-through, and a PU scope that's see-through. And if you're familiar with the see-through scopes mod, that's what these are. So you can see the surroundings besides just the little circle that you look through. And the PE scope and the PU scope have the exact same magnification in its usability, but you'll notice the PE scope does add 2 additional accuracy. And as for aesthetics, the PE scope is centered down the rifle, where the PU scope is kind of offset to the left-hand side a bit. But both are quite fun. I'm actually gonna, well, we'll keep the we'll keep the standard sights on this one for now to show off the standard sights, but then I might put on the PU scope onto it afterwards to show that. Then we have the muzzle, where we have either a standard single normal bayonet, the weird 4 bayonet thing, the Rizia Power, or however you say that, I have no idea, and of course, a quality suppressor, always good to have. And then finally, the damage modifier, which again just increases the damage of the gun by a certain percentage with no requirements. Again, I think it may be a little bit cheaty, but let's actually take a look at this thing out here and take a few shots with our standard Mosin Nagant, and the iron sights on it are actually pretty good, quite useful, and this is fairly accurate out to a long range. So let's just take a few shots. There we go, and here comes that beautiful reload animation. Now this is the reload animation for the sniper version. The infantry version has a separate different animation. And now remember what I said about the handle on the bolt action. Notice that it is curved, so it kind of goes down the side of the rifle. Whereas if I do switch to an infantry version here, you'll see that the bolt is straight out to the side. So that's the difference between the two. And now let's actually show off the infantry reload here. So we have the same sort of bolt action maneuver there. But after our 5 shots, here is the reload for this. There we are. It's a lot quicker, so you can get back into the action, because again, it is infantry. It's meant for close quarters combat, whereas the sniper is meant to take a little bit more time, so it is a slower reload. But yeah, there's the trying to shoot down sight issue with having 4 bayonets. Alright, let's actually put the PU scope back on the Mosin Nagant here, which I apparently suddenly have lost scopes. This is an issue I have been having with this thing. It doesn't always seem to give me scopes, even if I have a sniper receiver on here. And yeah, it seems to have disappeared now, which is lovely. Let's actually try to go over here, see if, yeah, it's disappeared from here too. It's an odd mod, and I don't know why, but it only seems fixable to when I actually restart the mod entirely, which is a little disappointing. I did want to show off the other scope, but I guess we'll only be able to see the PE scope that is see-through that I have on this particular gun. Yeah, it's not even showing up on the mod list here now. Lovely. It's the one and only bug that I have had with this. Sometimes the scopes just disappear, and I think it's because of the weird nature of it having both an infantry and a sniper version, one with scopes and one without. It gets confused, I guess. But here is, of course, at least one of our scopes, so I can show it off. There we go, bring that out. And now the other one is the same magnification as this. It's just offset to the left-hand side a little bit, which again, I wish I could show off, but yeah, it keeps doing this. In fact, this is the third time I've tried to record this video because of that bug. So that gives you an idea of the slight annoyance of it. Hopefully they do get that fixed soon. But yeah, a beautiful weapon. There goes the fun reload animation again. Now, I should point out at this point that there is actually two different files you could download. This is the standard version of the gun using the standard reload system, but there is also a version of the files that you download instead that is a scripted reload, because right now, if I just fire one shot and then hit reload, it's going to reload all 5 bullets, whereas the scripted reload would only reload 1. So I wanted to show off the standard one here so you guys do know, and you can just pick between the two of those. Both versions seem to have the scope bug. Let's actually jump back here real quick and see if it has come back. Yes, it came back. Beautiful. Alright, so let's grab the PU scope on this one so I can just show off that it is, you know, a cool looking scope, similar magnification, just offset to the left. So yeah, it's an odd bug. Hopefully that gets fixed. It's a little bit annoying, but oh well. There you go. You can see that it is offset to the left-hand side. And fire. But yes, a same magnification. Very, very fun though. Very cool. And a good time. But yeah, that is the Mosin Nagant. Let's actually get out the suppressed one to, of course, do our ritual of taking out this poor animal over here with this weapon. And yeah, it's an awesome gun. I'm really, really happy with this thing, as this is actually a gun I've thought of buying in real life because it's just such a beautiful piece of history. Plus, it is a quality weapon. And boom, down the dog goes. And it's just, well, Russian manufacturing surprisingly at its best in the 1890s. Well, again, I think 1890s. I'm not 100% sure if that was the case, but still a beautiful bolt-action gun, which, you know, if you are making a character that's more sympathetic to communism, might be the perfect weapon for you. But yes, that is the Mosin Nagant mod. If you would like to check it out for yourself, which I would definitely suggest you go and do, you can take a look at the link in the description, as always. And yeah, definitely go have fun with it. Shoot some wonderful things with a beautiful bolt-action rifle and some scopes that occasionally bug out. But that's going to be it for this episode, folks. I hope you all have enjoyed, and of course that you do come back for the next one, when hopefully we'll be looking at yet another wonderful mod. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one. And I'm going to try and shoot this rad stag over there. Now he's still behind the darn tree. Alright, later, folks!